There have been big changes recently in the way that Commonwealth Agencies administer their rehabilitation programs. And that's created a new job, my job, the case manager. Now that rehabilitation is coordinated at the workplace, you need someone like me to be the person in the middle, to deal with the injured employees, those who perform the rehabilitation services, and the employers. Good morning, Norman. Do you mind if I sit and have a chat?
Go ahead. Don't sit on my chocolates.
The doctor says you're on the mend. He advises rest, a course of physiotherapy, and you'll be as good as new.
Whatever he says. As long as my combo's on the way.
What I have to do now, or rather what we have to do, is put together a program for your return to work. It's sort of a timetable of your rehabilitation.
Why don't you talk to my doctor?
I'm afraid you're confusing rehabilitation with the medical treatment. Rehabilitation is more what happens after your injury's been treated. It's the coordination of your return to work. It may involve vocational counselling, retraining, workplace assessment.
Look, what's the problem? I'm off sick now, I'll be back when I'm better. Can't be too hard, can it? Wish I had your job.
Well, what about this case management plan, then?
What? Oh, yes. Right, let's see. You should be back at work soon. Ready for light duties. Light duties? That could mean anything.
What about my vocational counselling? I mean, it might help to change the way I work while my hand gets better.
Hang on about vocational counselling for a second. Light duties, what the hell does that mean? We should talk to rehabilitation professionals, like a vocational counsellor. What was that about vocational counselling?
Do I get any, or do I just sit here and talk to myself?
Yes, of course. This should help. And Comcare's the place to contact if any problems come up. A register of approved service providers. We'll find someone for you in here for sure.
Well, hurry up then.
Well, you obviously have no language problems, so that's not a consideration. So for a start, we'll look at counsellors convenient to where you live. I think I'm getting the hang of this. It's more than just a pen pusher's job. Let's start shopping around.
Okay, that should be fine. I'll look forward to it. Goodbye. Shopping around, that's part of my job too. Looking for the most appropriate, convenient and cost-effective rehabilitation service for both employee and employer. And that doesn't mean to say that once I've arranged a service provider that I can forget about the case. Oh no. On the basis of the rehabilitation assessment, I design a timetable for the employee's return to work that's acceptable to all parties. That's this. Sorry for that interruption. Now, have you looked through your case management plan? It's what we discussed last week.
Yeah, it looks great. Tell you, I'm glad to get back to work so soon.
Your rehab assessment says you're ready for it. You won't be able to work your normal hours for a while, though.
Will I be operating machinery?
No. I've spoken to your supervisor, and he says that won't be a problem.
Great. You got a deal, then.
When someone is rehabilitated after an accident, you may change what they do. But sometimes it's just as important to change the environment in which they do it. That's another area where a rehabilitation professional can help.
These boxes here for a start. If you reorganise things and put the commonly accessed stores on the top, you could cut out a lot of bending and lifting.
When do you think we can expect to see him?
Well, I'd like to see him back at work soon. If he lies around at home, he'll just reduce fitness and slow up his recovery. He's certainly up to starting part-time, and then we can increase his hours over the next few months. He's not to do any lifting, though.
So, part-time at first, with some work modification. I'll talk with his supervisor and see what we can arrange.
I don't see that there's much to arrange. You've got my report. I've practically done your job for you.
Basically, he's ready to work when you're ready to use him. Are there any problems?
Oh, no, it'll be fine, except... according to his job description, he has to take care of a large inventory of stores. Could we split that job in two?
Well, you're a large organisation. It shouldn't be a problem.
Yes, but I suppose it will involve rethinking some of the work procedures in that section. And then there's another thing. He normally does quite a bit of lifting. Now, if we take that out of his job, it means that the others in the section will have to do more of it. I mean, will they resent it?
It could be. That depends.
You just have to shift the burden around fairly. You have to consult with people. That's part of your job.
And then, when he works part-time, I guess there's the question of the best hours for him to work, and there are probably periods of peak workload when he's most needed.
Peak workload periods. That'll be late afternoons, especially Thursdays.
I can't help you with that, I'm afraid. I can provide you with a program of rehabilitation, but how to ease an employee back into the work really requires planning from someone inside the organisation.
Oh, the case manager, you mean?
You're the one in the middle.
I better get on to it then. Consultation. That the key? Late afternoons, you said. Especially Wednesdays?
Thursdays, love. Thursdays.
Part of being the person in the middle is knowing how human resources are used throughout the organisation, or at least knowing who to ask. So I get the run of the building in both the literal and figurative sense. Management is sympathetic. They realise that a good case manager means cost savings and better staff relations.
Come in. June, how's it going? I'd like to say that you really seem to be getting on top of this case management thing.
Yes, it seems to be running fairly smoothly now.
I suppose with a new sort of job like this, you almost have to train yourself.
Not really, Mr. Bullock. ComCare coordinates training courses, seminars, policy documents, and they have an information service that I've been using quite a lot.
Well, don't sell yourself short. You've been showing results. Fewer compensation claims and less time off work.
And more effective rehabilitation.
Well, let's just say that you've been noticed. You won't be a case manager forever, but it is a job where you can be noticed. And you have been.
Thank you.
There is one more thing. I was wondering when Harry Dunstan would be back at work. They really need him down in dispatch. You know what a madhouse it is down there at the end of the month.
Harry should be back next week. He'll have to take it fairly steady for a while, though. So I spoke to the supervisor down there, and they can reorder his work tasks, spread the deadlines a bit, with no loss of efficiency. He's also being trained on the sorter to give him a break from the loading dock.
Good. So that's another case closed, eh?
Well, there's just
Well,
one
my
more...
work's never ending. I sometimes wish I had your job. Right, case closed. I'll be off then.
Just one thing. Dispatch is a very accident-prone section, especially at the end of the month. I'm sure when you were looking at Harry's case, you had some ideas on what we could do to ease things up down there.
Ideas, yes. I've had some ideas. Of course, at this stage, they're only ideas.
From your case management plan for Harry Dunstan, I can see that you're thinking that the work tasks reordered for him might be applicable to the whole section. Might stop things piling up, making them a little less rushed.
Yes, I was thinking that exactly. You picked it up.
And I'm sure you've thought of job rotation.
Right, yes, job rotation. It leaps out at you.
And the other thing we can do is obvious.
Obvious, yes, it's obvious.
Good thinking. Industrial safety courses, correct lifting techniques, stress management, handling machinery. We could make them generally available. We don't have to wait for problems to occur.
No, that'd be stupid. We should be trying to reduce the need for rehabilitation in the first place. And as a case manager, I'm ideally situated to identify problems and to suggest changes to make this a safer, healthier workplace.
Exactly.
By the way, if we start stress management courses, sign me up for one. This case managing's a tough job.
It's a tough job, but it's a satisfying job too. I arrange the best of care for employees while saving employers money and resources. In the long term, I can help create a safer, happier workplace, and I don't have to do it alone. ComCare gives assistance and helps set up a network of case managers in different areas so that we can develop our skills of negotiation, administration, counselling and liaison, which are vital for a successful career. There's a lot more I could tell you, but perhaps you should read the supporting material. I have to get back to work.